Are you excused from class the rest of the day for being named Big 12 Player of the Week?
No, that's why I'm here early. I got to go in about 10 minutes, so definitely not.
Zach, with Jordan playing so well on the other side, have you noticed, or do you feel like you're being tested a little bit more than maybe you would have expected, considering you're more experienced guy?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when he's kind of on a hot streak right now, so you know, definitely teams don't want to throw at you know, at a guy that's hot, especially a corner. So you know, if I just keep doing my job and eliminate some of the bad things that I've been doing, I think I'll be all right.
Does that excite you that more teams are throwing your way?
Oh yeah, I mean, you always want to have the opportunity to make a play. You know, that's just my competitive spirit. You know, I wish they would throw the ball at me every play. You know, it's just more opportunities to make a play.
After Saturday's game, you said Will was your player of the game. Going back, looking at film, just talk a little bit about his game.
Oh man, he's a hard worker. He's a quiet dude. He looks like he's in his zone 24/7. You know, he don't really talk much. He just puts his headphones on and goes about his business. But you know, the first third down, the big third down stop he had, I think helped a lot for his confidence. You know, and it was just a matter of time for, you know, he got a shot, and he did on Saturday, and I think he made the most of it. And you know, I keep saying it, but I think we found another special player in Will Johnson. So it's just good to see that out of him.
You're getting ready to play Tech. It seems like having a true third corner out on the field will help you guys. Was that the good thing to come out of K-State?
Oh, definitely. You know, adding another cover guy helps us out tremendously. You know, the way JT's playing right now, and you know, having Will had the game he had last week, and he'll just continue to get better. And Steven and Ahmad are both playing well, and you know, me working on things and fixing things in my game. You know, we're going to be a complete, you know, secondary, which is good. And then the guys up front do their job week in and week out of making guys uncomfortable.
Last year, Tech threw the ball 50 times. How difficult is it to shut down your matchup when they're passing so much?
I mean, it's kind of like guarding LeBron and KD. You're not going to shut them down, but you got to do your best to slow them down, you know, and eliminate big plays and things like that. You know, these offenses are made to move the ball, so it's going to happen. And, you know, Coach Cooks preaches that every week, but we got to do our job of eliminating the big plays, and you know, and when we have opportunity to make a play on the ball, we got to come down with it.
Zach, Tech plays with tempo a lot also, like a lot of teams. What kind of a stress does that put on your defense? And is there any benefit to a defense when a team does try to play fast?
Well, I don't think it's something that we haven't seen before. I mean, me being here for 4 years, I think we've seen up-tempo offenses every week, and then we face an up-tempo offense every day in practice. So, you know, it's something that's definitely not new to us and something we're not used to. You know, but we just got to be, you know, get to our assignments faster and get lined up and ready to play. You know, every down of the game. So it's definitely something that we're not used to. But you know, we just got to be more on point with our assignments and getting lined up.
Zach, one of the storylines this week will be Baker Mayfield playing against Texas Tech once again. You talk a little bit about his maturity and how you think he'll approach this week.
He's ready. I just had class with him. He's definitely amped and ready to go. You know, but who wouldn't be? I mean, so. But, I mean, Baker's a competitor. It don't matter who we're playing. He's going to be amped up. But I think it's just a little more this week, you know, just from him coming from there. And, you know, that's expected. You know, that's definitely expected out of Bake. You know, I'd be the same way or anybody else at this level. So, you know, I'm just, you know, Bake's probably more excited than anybody else to play him. And, you know, I'm sure he'll reiterate that today during practice and all week.
You seem to be in the backfield a whole lot more on Saturday than you have been for the most part of the season. Was that something you guys schemed up, or was that something in the game that Mike just saw that
it just kind of both. You know, we try to come off the edge, you know, a few times a game, and you know, just keep offenses honest. And you know, some coach Mike, you know, will check if he sees it upstairs, and I love it. You know, blitzing is fun, especially from the corner position. But I wish he blitzed me every play, but unfortunately he won't. But no, it's a game plan thing, and just kind of something we see throughout the game.
What happens on those sorts of plays where that happens, and what can you do to fix that?
I think it's just me being greedy. You know, I tend to forget sometimes that the best part of my game is the fact that I can make plays, and you know, sometimes I think I press too much and try to make a play right now, and instead of letting it come to me, and you know, it gets me in trouble at times. And you know, so that's just something I need to get back to, is letting the plays come to me and not trying to make them right now, and just know that I'll make them eventually. So that's just my biggest thing with that. It's just pressing too hard to make the play right now instead of just playing my game, and you know, it'll all happen for itself.
When you intercept a lot of passes like you have, is that sort of easy to get into that mindset, trying to look for that on every play?
I mean, definitely. You know, and just like I said, I think I get greedy. You know, and I just got to do a better job of knowing when I can and when I can't. You know, do those type of things. And you know, now teams are probably going to double move me 6 times a game. So you know, that's just one thing I got to be ready for and more prepared for.
How big is having Stevens' versatility in the secondary, where he can kind of move positions?
Oh, it's huge. You know, especially adding on the wheel. I think now he can focus on just being, you know, a safety for us, and you know, I think he does that better than anything else. You know, his range and you know his ability to come up and tackle in space. And he's a smarter player this year, and he's just more mature. And you know, it's good to see him grow like that. And you know, I'm excited for where he's headed.
Did you have anything to say to Will before the game or during the game?
Well, I talked to him on Thursday, and I just told him to calm down. You know, he was just in his zone. I was like, man, just relax. It's football. You know, just go out there and play and have fun. And you know, I told him on the bus on Friday on the way to the airport before the delay, and I think it kind of loosened him up a little bit. And you know, he just kind of relaxed, and then you know, his first big play, you know, was a 3rd down stop, and I think from there on he just realized, you know, it's just football again. You know, at the end of the day. And, you know, so it was just good to see him respond like that. And he's a guy that, you know, he's in his playbook every day. He's watching film every day. If we're just at the house, he's at my house just watching film. And, you know, we'll probably watch TV. He's in his film. You know, he's always doing that. He's a guy that stays on his work, and he works really hard at it. And it showed on Saturday.
Zach, I know you're pretty close with Frank Shannon. He got to play quite a bit. There's a chance, I guess, he could move back into the lineup this week if Jordan can't go. Do you think he's ready to take that step back in? And has this been rough on him not getting to play as much this year?
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously as a competitor you want to play, but, you know, Frank is a great team player first. And, you know, he's probably the you know, Jordan's biggest fan, you know, off the field and on the field. So, you know, I think he'll definitely be ready to play, you know, if they call on him and Jordan's not able to go. But, you know, Frank is definitely the farthest thing from a selfish player. You know, and he's been really good at, you know, when he's playing on special teams, he's happy about everything he's doing. And, you know, obviously he wants to be on the field. That's everybody on the team. And but you know, he knows when his opportunity comes, he'll make the most of it.
As a defense, how did it feel to get that first Big 12 shutout, first time in 5 years, just get a shutout?
Oh, it was huge. I don't think I realized it till last night. I was just sitting there, I was like, man, like we really shut them out yesterday. And you know, just it feels good. But I think when you're out there having fun, you don't really realize what you're doing. You know, I think it's just 11 guys on the field, you know, all in rhythm and having fun and flying around to the football, and good things happen, you know, when that's going on.
Is there a real noticeable difference when you give up even 3 points as opposed to giving up 0? Is that sort of just, I mean, is that?
Yeah, trust me, it eats at us. But that's what I was telling Shaw. I was like, man, I don't even want to give up a field goal. I don't want to give up nothing. And, you know, so it's just good that we were able to do that.